originally from Minnesota and born and raised there with my sister PJ Berger, and we were blessed with ponies coming out of our ears, and I'm talking wild ponies. My parents strapped us on some things that we probably shouldn't have been on, but it made little cowgirls out of us. We had one pony that actually was an ex-chariot racing pony. We taught it to run barrels, and my dad would hold it under its head, and my mom would throw me on, and when you turned it loose, it ran barrels. And needless to say, we weren't afraid of anything, and it just got us hooked. I showed Western Pleasure, English, done it all, rode with cutters. Actually worked as, I guess you'd say, an assistant trainer for a pleasure horse trainer for almost like 10 years. And I credit so much to that woman. Her name was Ann Anderman, and she just taught me so much. She let me break 2-year-olds. Did I know what I was doing? I don't know, but I figured it out as I went under her guidance. And riding pleasure horses seems really boring to a lot of people. To me, it wasn't. I would actually love to get back on one today. The thing I credit the most to it is I learned where their feet are. I learned how to control left, right, where they're going. I learned my leads. I learned everything at a really slow pace. So as my 13-year-old self, I got to feel it. So now when I'm going really fast, it's just imprinted in me where the legs are, how things are moving, taught me how to make a horse soft in the face, have some carriage in his frame. Just a lot of success comes out of that. And somebody would really, you wouldn't think that, but pleasure horses is a big part of where I came from. So I went through high school, pretty exciting high school career. I won the all-around 3 years, went to nationals in barrels, pulls, breakaway, goat tying, not goat tying, cutting, and team roping, everything but goat tying. So I was at nationals in 5 events. Just had a lot of fun. I look back now and kind of laugh at some of the horses I had in high school because I didn't know anything about injecting their hocks. I didn't know anything about bleeders. I didn't know anything about any of that. Looking back, I'm sure my horse had a lot of those things going on and we didn't know how to fix it. I just told him to go faster and hoped it worked, you know? So it's kind of neat to see how far you've come. Went on to college at Fort Scott, Kansas on a college scholarship there. Had a little success. And then just kind of ventured out on my own slowly. I really wasn't diving into the horse thing just yet. Didn't have the money, didn't have the facility. I worked as a dental assistant for 5 years and kind of met my husband during that time and just kind of jumped off and bit the bullet. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a rocky road starting out in the horse business. When you don't have a name, people won't send you nice horses. I'm not gonna lie, you start at rock bottom. And I rode some horses that bucked, I've rode some Appaloosas, I've rode it all, but I wanted it bad enough that I just kept digging. And it takes a long, long time to get people to send you really good horses. And just do your work, show up, be who you are, and just never quit continuing to learn, and people will eventually respect you if you want it bad enough. Back to the lady I interned under for the pleasure horse, Ann Anderman. She taught me tons of stuff for over 10 years. Still kind of make connections with her. My husband has been a huge influence on me. He's done everything from the cutting. He's a world champion himself in the team roping. He's hard on me in a good way, and it has made me so much better, and being able to share my videos and be able to watch things. And he keeps it really simple on a horsemanship term, and he's been a huge influence on me. Over the last couple of years, I've really gotten close to Stevie Hillman. She and her husband Ty has been a really big influence on my mental game. He keeps it simple, refreshing, but he also knows when you're down and out how to say the right things and kind of keep you going. I feel like Stevie's made me a better person, makes me get up and do things that maybe I didn't want to do before, and I've watched her come from nowhere to where she's at now, and I mean, that's pretty neat to me, so it'd be cool to try to do some of that myself. You know, it's kind of neat to live down here in Oklahoma now from Minnesota. I remember when I first came down here, we went to an open rodeo on a Friday night, and there was 3 people there that had been at the NFR, and mind blown. They were movie stars to me. I couldn't believe that they were there. Sure, they weren't on their good horse, whatever, I don't know, but they were there, and I couldn't wrap my brain around, wow, you know, wherever I come. And so now to me, I look through my contacts on my phone, and I don't know, I couldn't count how many people have been in the NFR on my phone. Like, mind-blowing that it's come full circle, and they're my best friends now. It's kind of neat. I don't know, I was actually talking to the girl that owns this facility last night, and I don't really know who I would be if I didn't have a horse. I don't like to golf, I hate shopping. I don't really want to work at an office job, so the freedom to do this, it is not easy. The one complaint that I would say that probably everybody has in the industry is you can never shut the door at 5 o'clock and walk away. I have customers bring me horses at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I have people bring me horses at 6 a.m., happen to be passing through. Most of your customers that want to come see their horse go, they have to work so they can pay you. Therefore, they can't come see their horse unless it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. After 5, the hours are grueling and long, but I wouldn't want to do anything else. So I would say it's worth everything. What I do for a living, I feel like is a little bit of a missing link in the industry. We've got our great futurity trainers, we've got our great rodeo riders, we've got our open riders, we've got all these people, but there's really just not a directory or anywhere to look when you're having trouble. There are a few people that give lessons, that do things. My knack in life is fixing a horse. And I mean, I've asked Jolene Montgomery and all these other girls, they hate it. So they send me business. I love putting the pieces together. To me, we did some videos earlier about taking a stride out of a turn. It's easy for me. I can feel why this horse isn't clocking. Boom, boom, boom. Take that out, he wins. So it's not always that easy, but I truly enjoy doing that. And then on the side, I broker a lot of high-end barrel horses. People in the rodeo industry look up to me. I sell great horses. I don't mess around with the bad ones. I want to sell a horse to a girl and I want her to post it on Facebook. I want her to tag me. I want her to come back. If she doesn't like the horse, I'll take it back. I'll sell it again. But those two things are really what pays my bills, and tune-ups and selling high-end barrel horses. So I can't even remember the horse, but they had just kind of asked me if I would sell their horse, and of course I said yes, and that horse went on to be super successful out west. And so therefore, everybody asked those people, where did you get that horse? I started getting random phone calls, and it just led to one thing to another. I did start with some horses on the bottom that were what I would say not so nice. I had a mare for this girl that was terrible. She was a beautiful Palomino, but she would kick, she knocked the barrels over. She was a pig. Pig, but she was cheap. I had this girl from Kansas call me, and I talked her out of this horse. I'm like, you do not want this horse. She's terrible. She's like, well, what does she do? And I'm like, she kicks in the stall, she kicks in the trailer, she hits the barrels, she's terrible. She's like, well, I really want her. And I'm like, no, you don't. So she wires the money, she comes to get the horse, she rides it real scared. I'm like, why are you could take her around the barrels. And she said, I don't want to, you have me scared to death. Or I'm like, well, she's not that bad. So I sent her home, the mare kicked her stall, she did all this stuff, but that girl sends me more business than anybody else I've ever worked with because I was so honest, and she has stayed with that horse, and she won money in the 1D at the BBR, like, the horse is great. But had I not told her all that, it would have been a terrible thing. So baby steps to the top, and good horses are just fun to sell, and people, I think, believe in my jockey skills, so they send them to me, I run them at a rodeo or two, and then we cash out. It's pretty fun. So I get to ride some amazing horses. I wouldn't be able to do it without it. It's really fun. But I have wanted to be where I am in my career right now for 20 years. And if I could tell the younger me, be patient, it's coming. You know, I even remember pulling up at the jackpots and seeing these bigger trainers, and they'd have an 8-horse trailer and all these horses, and like, I want to be that girl, but I didn't know how, so I just kept digging, and I just kept digging, and I just kept digging, and kept asking those girls what to do, how to ride, how to do things. But I'm very content with where I am right now, and it's taking a long time to get here. But just keep digging, keep going after your goals, and I'm not done yet. There's a lot on my plate that I want to do yet. There's lots of advice I could give you. There's how to care for your horse, how to do all those things. The only key to success in this deal is basic horsemanship. How do these girls go out to the NFR year after year on different horses and make it there? You look at Stevie Hillman, Michelle McLeod, Sherry Servey. These girls, they know how to tune these horses. They've taken some fragile-minded colts and they've made them winners. But what a lot of people don't see is that when I'm at the rodeo at 6 in the morning, sometimes it's 3 in the morning practice at Denver or wherever we are, these girls are up with these horses and they are doing the work, and they are making them go around the barrel correctly. They're making sure it happens, and they know how. So I sell a lot of high-dollar horses to people, and 6 months to a year, some of them will bring them back, and the horse is not what it once was. It's because they thought they paid a lot of money for this horse, and he can live in this stall, and he's a computer that's supposed to come out and do his job, but they didn't have the horsemanship when he started doing something wrong to keep him together. So I would say the number one thing in the business, especially if you want a rodeo or barrel race at a top level, if you get to that show and your horse somewhat falls apart, if you don't know how to put him back together, round 2 is going to suck. So you've got to be able to know your horse and know how to fix the problem. And that comes from hours and hours. There's no fast lane to express in the horsemanship business. And just learn as much as you can from as many people as you can. One of the most memorable horses I have, and he's not really a memory because he's pretty present in my life right now, is the horse I have, Hall of Famer. A friend of mine owned him, and I watched him since he was 3 years old, and there was something about this horse that I had to have. I continued to bug this girl for years and years, and she would not sell him to me. I'm not sure if he had gotten hurt or what over the years, but he had quit working for her, and she was upset about it, and I still just kept bugging her, you know, and I actually did get him bought, and he was not easy either. I worked very hard through the winter and put him together, and I actually won the American Qualifier at Chickasha on him probably within 6 months after owning him. Won second at Fort Smith. I won a lot of stuff on him. He is memorable because he's extremely quirky. I have a ton of girls that would love to buy him. He is not for everyone. He makes my job a challenge. And something about me that I can add in here is winning is great, but I don't want it to come easy. I want that difficult horse. I want that horse that nobody believed in, that nobody thought could do it, and I want to win on it. So, not gonna lie, I'm 40 years old and I still fist pump, but sometimes if you knew the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making that run, it's unbelievable for me. But kudos to the people that are able to afford to buy the Proven Winner, because if I could, I would, but I can't. So nothing more makes me happy than taking a problematic horse and taking it to the top. JL Treasure Smash, he was a pretty good one. He went to a girl named McKenna Coronado in Utah. He was one of the high-end ones that I sold years ago. I'm talking, put your hand down and hang on. I've never been on a horse as powerful as that one. We had a gray mare, we called her Lulu, Cody Lee Coletown. My sister actually ran her at the NFR. She was kind of a project horse of our families that made it all the way to the finals. I mean, who would have thought out of the backwoods of Minnesota, this mare my mom bought at auction for $1,400 would run at the NFR one day. That's who I rode through college. She was better than I ever knew when I had her, kind of thing, and it'd be really fun to see what she could do. She's too old to run now, but winning was easy on her, and I guess I took it for granted, kind of. I just took her everywhere, and it was simple. She was really, really impressive, but gosh, I've rode some great horses, and I'd be terrible if I forgot some of them, but I've rode Guys Cashing In of Kyler Turlips, that stud. He's like one of my favorites. He's super fun. Gosh, I don't know. Those are a couple of cakes. JL Treasure Smash is amazing. 2 summers ago, left out, I actually rodeoed with Stevie that year, and we were on a roll, winning everything. I had my great horse, Hall of Famer, on the road. Things were great. Couldn't get worse, you know? Well, they did. Woke up one morning, and Hall of Famer was dead lame, and I'm in a pickle. Meanwhile, a couple nights before, we were driving an all-night drive, and I was in the passenger seat, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and this little buckskin mare was on Facebook. She was an own daughter of French Prince guy, and she was in my budget, and something about her I liked. Called the girl, messaged her, set up the vet check, had her bought the next day. Had her shipped to me in Minnesota, had her 2 or 3 days, not gonna lie, hated the horse. It was awful. Had no idea what I was gonna do. I was driving around rodeos. I was using a release, wasn't being able to do anything, and I had to drive to Sheridan, Wyoming, because one of the vets that I used was going to be there to have my horse Hall of Famer looked at. And so I told the girl that I was with, I was like, I might as well run her. I was like, it saves me a $100 fine from turning out at this rodeo. Let's just run her, who cares? She won the rodeo. And like, I just remember the announcer saying to the lead, and I looked at this person, I was like, of what? Like, I mean, it felt good, but it didn't feel like that. And so to me, that was the most unexpected victory of my entire career, paid over $5,000. The nerves I had going into that run were almost borderline throw up, because I just didn't want to fall off. Like, this mare was not easy, really not easy to ride. And so I just wanted to get around the barrels, and I got a big fat check. So that was a pretty cool win for me. So probably the cake topper. I would say some of the keys to success for me are, just like we said, I enjoy the struggle bus a little bit, which is so random thing to say, but I enjoy going from the bottom with a horse and going to the top. And I would say my key to success is being able to think outside the box a little bit. I've taken many horses that have been through 10 people's hands that nobody could get win, and I think super way over here, and I know they've had this done, and I know they've had this done, so I try something totally different. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I just enjoy taking a problematic horse and doing good on it. And I don't know if that's a key to success. The people around me are definitely a key to my success. Being able to have rode a horse since I was 2 years old is probably another huge key to my success. Just getting up and wanting to do it, I think, is probably the biggest thing that you could do.